Speaking of threes, our matchup is pretty much ready here as we're going to get into an intense match. I'm excited. Omelette versus Plot Twist. I still think Plot Twist has the edge, but man, Omelette, they're going to bring it to him.
You feel like we've not had an opportunity to really call you off this prediction just yet, do you?
No,
I'll tell you what, that is a good-looking Omelette.
That's right. You know, that's better than James Bot could ever try to even make his. Okay, I guarantee you James Bot's omelettes do not look like that.
I mean, I don't know, man. I don't understand exactly what James is going for. I feel like we need to find something new to roast James on. The good news is it is James. It will not take us too long for him to give us something to work with.
He'll give us an opportunity, you know, one of these times.
One of these times. So here we go. We are into the game, and we are almost immediately getting a goal followed up from MECTOS. And wow, that is certainly a way to introduce yourself.
And this is what I was talking about when it comes down to MECTOS or Taroko being the guy who sets up SOSA for that initial shot. He did hit the post, but then you've got MECTOS to follow up. Right away, these guys are warmed up, and you know they're hungry to not even drop down to that lower bracket.
I mean, you certainly don't want to. The lower bracket teams very notoriously get very hot in terms of form.
Yeah.
And definitely want to be there, especially with them just coming off a win. And also, I mean, let's talk about the other upside to this. You objectively, not subjectively, because I'm sure everyone's going to have their opinions about which teams are stronger. Objectively, according to seeding, get the stronger matchup in the first round. Now, I don't think anyone's going to be looking at Space Station Gaming as a fun time to play against.
Yeah, that'll be tough. That'll definitely be a challenge, especially given the fact that, you know, a lot of the teams here, I feel like wouldn't even equate to what Space Station are capable of. So it's either way going to be a challenge.
The other side of that is NRG for whoever goes through in the losers bracket. So far, Plot Twist looking strong in the opening minute, trying to add to their current tally. Up the corner, Freshness able to get it away, but Plot Twist continue to put this pressure on. Only just seeing the ball cleared to their side of the field, and even then it might not last too long. LIONBLAZE, after a very solid week in the Salt Mine, looking to try and show off what he is capable of on the threes field, but right now they are still looking for their first opportunity. This might be it. Bounce into the midfield. And SOSA, your boy, Turtle, just carries the ball away.
I mean, he is just so impressive whenever he gets that ball and gets that given chance to go towards the net. A lot of times I feel like he won't create too many himself, but when it comes down to him finishing off what his teammates can set up for him, this man is so consistent.
Back into the midfield. MECTOS again, but not too far away before the third man can come and take over. SOSA, what a flick that is. Every time he's getting a hold of the ball, he is buying so much time for his team, getting good transitions. Every time he's made contact on the ball, it seems like Omelette's attack opportunity just seems to disintegrate. Now SOSA again. Off the corner. It's going to be awkward. LIONBLAZE off the backboard, but right now, Omelette not having the opportunity to really send players downfield in mass, so struggling to hold on to the offensive for the time. Half the game gone. And right now, no offensive opportunities created for the team that's currently down. Back up to the corner. MECTOS just clears long. It's become a little bit of a boomer battle here, Turtle. And this is not the game that Omelette wants to be playing.
Well, and this is something that I feel like every single series that I've watched Omelette play, it's weird. A lot of their opportunities initially have been generated a lot from demos and that physicality aspect of the game. Other than that, it can be multiple solo plays, and I feel like that's just their issue, is setting up themselves for, you know, at least a couple of chances on net. A lot of teams, at least in these lower leagues, will have a chance to really hammer the net and just put on a bunch of shots, but for Omelette, they're very passive. When they do get on offense, I feel like they're a little bit too selective with those initial shots, and they don't want to just keep applying pressure to break that defense down.
And we are starting to head towards the last stage of the game now. SOSA, good flick, might get a second bit of contact. Couldn't quite do it. MECTOS will not be there first. Omelette with their chance to break away. Just doesn't last that long, and it's been a very common phrase, I feel like, whenever we have seen Omelette able to put themselves forwards. Just have not been able to maintain it thus far. Flip reset, immediate challenge. MECTOS very proactive with his defensive side. Then it's going to be a lack of contact, and you can't be giving away goals that easily.
And look at the midfield challenge. If you saw it earlier, right there, MECTOS getting up so early to that air dribble. There had been a demo on the side of Plot Twist where a defender had been taken out, and yet they're the ones who end up with the goal. And that just speaks to that win in the midfield to keep that pressure, deny any opportunity from the demo, and catch Omelette off guard.
But now that 2-goal lead, Plot Twist will have to pretty much fall apart for them not to take this win. Especially in a series or in a game, however, that realistically they just have not been tested. Back into the midfield, Freshness looking for the pass. But right now, Plot Twist with all 3 players back, they can start reading where those are going to be going. But Omelette being a little bit more aggressive, have decided to put more players forward as they need to. SOSA looking for the third, might just drop onto it instead. Took too much time. Freshness can take the ball back over. It's only temporary infield pass, and that was super risky, super aggressive. Get the feel that Plot Twist don't need to be going for those sort of plays anymore.
Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of over-aggression, but thankfully, if you're a fan of Plot Twist, they come out, you know, basically unharmed from defense, even though they were a bit risky with their positioning. In the final 10 seconds now, Omelette, maybe if they can get something here, there's a chance, but the final 5 seconds, they've had barely any opportunities on net.
It feels like this might be their last one, just to get something going. But a somewhat toothless display from the Omelette offense in this first game. Plot Twist with game number 1, and reasonably looked pretty comfortable doing so.
Yeah, and if you're a player, I think on Omelette right now, you got to tell your team to focus a bit more on the clears. I think that when it comes down to at least this game of Rocket League, it's not necessarily about those shots that you're getting. I feel like right now you got to focus on keeping possession, at least just getting yourself in that midfield area, because I don't know if you noticed, Shogun, but every time Omelette would get a clear, it just seemed like they didn't even try to find a teammate whatsoever. They would always just bang that ball completely towards the other side, even focus on a dribble to stall out time for your teammates, nothing.
I mean, we've seen players that can definitely get away with that style, but you've got to hit it cleaner than what we're seeing right now. I mean, Joe Freshness with 7 different saves, and it feels like a lot of them just came from clears that were going straight back through the middle and just getting hit right back at him. You know, you can't be doing that. If you are going to be clearing, it needs to be high. It needs to be skimming that roof as close as it possibly can be, and just make life difficult for Plot Twist. Right now, none of that happening.
Yeah, I mean, it does seem a little bit like assembly line rotations where they're kind of prioritizing that net, where they would always have somebody going far post to recover and have a safety net in case their player missed that clear. But what you're doing with that passive approach is you're leaving nobody forward to receive that clear that you might end up getting or winning off of a 50. So nobody's there to keep the pressure going, and you end up collapsing on defense. So Omelette, not too many great looks, but Plot Twist, it was all about their offense and staying patient. Even though they got a little bit aggressive, they still maintained at least to keep Omelette scoreless.
So game number 2. Still a qualifying spot on the line. LIONBLAZE looking for a better start, and you're not going to get many better than that one. Gorgeous first goal for the series.
LIONBLAZE. He hit this like a lightning bolt straight down. Crossbar down. You can't ask for a better finish off the backboard. He set himself up perfectly. It's that 1v1 skill coming into effect. That's a shot that you can replicate so many times in ones. And thankfully here he gets the opportunity.
Great start here in game 2. Omelette on the board. Luke got past one player, but SOSA immediately challenges. This might not last too long, though. SOSA on the same side that the pass came in means that he cannot take the shot that he was after. There's a bit of a scramble here, but what a pass. Luke spots it quickly, but might not last too much longer. MECTOS wants his opportunity. LIONBLAZE will stop it, but low boost all over the place right now for Omelette. And double commits like that will not help. MECTOS off the backboard. LIONBLAZE is so smart, though. Sits himself up on the backboard, removes that from being an opportunity. And when you're a team that's low boost, taking an option that requires none of it, certainly a nicer way to go about. And Luke saving his team so much time. They have now completely got themselves back into rotation, reboosted, and maybe up by 2. Shot is skied. Good start there for Omelette, looking much more organized.
Yeah, definitely, and they're actually pushing forward with their offense, which is great because they're keeping possession, which allows them to take that corner boost. And you've noticed that the defensive Plot Twist has actually been panicking so much more because a lot more of this possession has been forced towards their own net. And you can see LIONBLAZE, that turn in right there. Rotations like that to keep them forward, keep them at least aggressing so that a mistake will come out and it finally breaks down. Here's Freshness to clean it up.
This has just been so much more effective. Taroko, not with the half volley clear that he wanted. Just drops it right back down for Freshness. Omelette, much better this time around, making use of the aggression and the awkward positions that they have managed to put Plot Twist in. Out to Luke. Luke's only got MECTOS left, one-on-one. And it's a great save from MECTOS. He's going to require a bit of help. I feel like Luke could have done a little bit better with just going for a hook shot. Keep it nice and simple. And now MECTOS right over the top of the ball. Sosa and Taroko against Luke. And LIONBLAZE, who just gave the ball over to him. Taroko, great double touch. He's going to take the ball to the other side of the field. Lays it off to MECTOS. Going to go for a little bit fancy. But the fancy stuff is not going to work against LIONBLAZE.
Oh, and a double commit. Almost going for a pinch. That was a weird block from Sosa. But now Luke's got some space in the air. He goes for the flip reset. Doesn't get it now. Freshness trying to hit the top corner. Really good look so far from all of Omelette, as it feels like their offense has really evolved into that next step that I was talking about, where their rotations aren't as passive. They're cutting in more and trying to keep that possession and starve out their opponent. Something
that you see less from teams as well, especially when things aren't going well for them. Great shot from Luke. Baby. That is up to 3. We saw a lot of this yesterday, Turtle, with teams so good at these midfield passes straight for the redirect. And that is just fantastic.
And that's what I'm talking about. Have somebody forward for a clear. You know that whenever that clear does actually come out, somebody's on the receiving end. In the previous game, Luke would have 100% rotated back, had a bit more passive of that defensive style, and forced himself back. But that time, he just kind of stayed forward, waiting for the clear, cherry picking, if you will. And it works out wonderfully.
And a lot of time as well, it's like, what is that third player really going to be able to accomplish back in defense?
Yeah.
By the time that those shots have been coming in, they're already pretty much covered. There's the foot number 4. The LIONBLAZE takes full advantage off a huge bump from Luke.
Luke is always the guy who's doing this. Me and James were casting the Omelette match earlier, and they got like 6 or 7 demos in the first minute, and I'm pretty sure 90% of those were from Luke. So he's doing a good job of being that aggressor and making sure he's annoying. I'm telling you, one of the most effective playstyles is just annoying. Having a player who's taking the boost, going for bumps, redirecting the touch, and just stalling time, really. And Luke is a player who does exactly that.
Yeah, especially for a game as quick as Rocket League is. Having that player that forces these pros that have, typically had to look at a lot of situations and just deal them as quickly as they possibly can.
Yeah.
Instead, almost that second thought is a little bit of a detriment because you're not used to taking it and you're not used to having to slow down. MECTOS and the rest of Plot Twist just want something out of this game. Get something to make the scoreline look a little bit more respectable. They should not be making it back into this, though. 4 goals should be unassailable. Sosa up. It's going to be put up high, but that is so awkward. And Luke went in and out. Great foresight from him. Able to deal with it. LIONBLAZE, huge shots off the crossbar, but they don't need it. And instead, it is just demo after demo. Plot Twist have got to be fuming with this.
This is what I was talking about, man. Like, it gets to a point where everybody is on the field just getting demoed. Because Omelette, the rotations, they realize they get a demo, and then they go for the corner boost. And after they get the corner boost, they'll also go for the demo on the player who just spawned, trying to really tilt everybody on Plot Twist. So, Omelette looking super fearsome right now. And at least a huge step up from last game.
Well, that is game number 2. Done and dusted, really. And what a response it has been from Omelette. All up to Plot Twist now. It looks like this is one of the games, though, that sort of, it goes away from you very quickly, and it becomes very difficult to really come back. So, scoreline might have been a little inflated towards the end. But either way, Omelette find the recipe to success.
Definitely. And this time, we're actually looking at Luke. He's the player who did spark a lot of these chances. He got that demo early on, and then as well as the bump, and that initial redirect where he's downfield waiting for the clear. So I truly believe that Omelette, in the comms at least, we're telling Luke to be a bit more aggressive, push out, try and keep possession and hold on to that ball. The longer you can, the more effective it'll be because you just make everybody waste boost. So Omelette, big step in the right direction. Let's see if they can keep it going.
I mean, we're going to want to see more of that. I love what they were doing with that third man. Sort of downfield, just, we don't need you just yet. If you see it all going wrong, which, you know, we might see in the future, we might see plot twists sort of cause a few more issues for Omelette when it comes to sustained pressure. But for this one, nothing really went wrong. You might as well stay downfield, steal a little bit of boost, get yourself a hit if you want it, and make sure you're also available if we need a redirect. I mean, just having that option makes clears so much more effective, because otherwise, we see Omelette do what we got from them in the last game, which was just sort of aimless clears right into a midfield that is already waiting for them.
It was almost as if all three of them wanted to play the same exact role, you know, and that's just being smart on defense, being a bit more passive, and making sure you're going for the proper 50s. But as a result of that playstyle, you know, you're going against a team that is definitely going to capitalize and win a bunch more 50s.
I mean, that was a little bit brave from Taroko, looking at LIONBLAZE, hoping that the straight down the middle fake was going to work. Definitely was going to be unlikely. Luke, off the backboard, his freshness. Too much angle, couldn't quite turn it in. A double commit will be perfectly safe for Omelette. Maybe the second one won't be. They haven't got anyone to really follow this up in a good spot. Instead, Luke will just aim to keep the pressure on. Finally, MECTOS able to clear to the other side of the field. Plot twist, just wanting to see what the other side actually looks like. They have been pegged back for the opening 40 seconds, but almost immediately make it count. Luke clears long. LIONBLAZE looks to give chase. So far, Omelette having the better of the possession, but with all three players back, they are struggling to break them down. Mistake coming at any moment. SOSA. Seen how good he was with the ball carries earlier on. This one very heavy with his first touch. Unable to carry it afterwards. This might be a big opportunity. There's midfield options. Oh, good play from MECTOS.
You can see so many times where it feels like Omelette are going to go for a big clear, but instead they'll have a little touch up the wall, like right there. You saw freshness then to get that pass out. He had that initial touch that was close to him. And just like that again, Luke, they're keeping this initial touch so close to the wall, so close to their car, so they can either follow it up with a dribble or just go for a 50. And that's what's honestly wasting so much time, forcing plot twist to not only waste boost, to also commit two players.
Back into the midfield. Nobody around for plot twist to follow. That long clear, taken by MECTOS incredibly late. Left him available for the demo. He thought he could be a little bit more controlled of his approach. And Omelette were very happy to show him that he certainly was not.
And Sosa, you know he was upset because he got in line to hit that ball. And MECTOS was like, you know, I'm just going to take this slow. You know, be patient with it. Even though Sosa definitely could have just banged that across the field. He took it slow. And like you said, Omelette just made him pay for that.
Freshness with another huge save. Omelette with 5 goals unanswered. And plot twist looking to get something go their way. One demo. Has it been taken too long from MECTOS? That was a very heavy first touch. Sosa looks to recover it. And Taroko and the rest of the team will be looking at that little sequence and saying, well, surely we should have one on the board.
This is just a grimy game, too. You can see there had to be a double demo for them to get like pretty much their first opportunity. Meanwhile, Omelette on the other side, their only goal was off of a demo as well. So everything really just getting dirty for both these teams.
I mean, both teams have been very quick to admit when they don't feel like they've got midfield control anymore, so they've also both been very quick to put 3 back. MECTOS off target. A second time for plot twist. And really, now these mistakes are starting to add up. Now they've got to be looking at their shooting accuracy and feeling like it needs to be better.
Yeah, and this is getting scary because normally it is Sosa at the end of a lot of those passes in the midfield, but when it's come down to MECTOS and Taroko, I feel like the accuracy has not been that well. But as I say that, MECTOS is ready to shut me up, and he finally puts one in. The shooting accuracy has increased.
Sosa unchallenged for so long, and this is why you do not give him that sort of space. Everybody waiting for the shot, nobody waiting for the backboard rebound. Plot twist on the board. Finally getting themselves a goal after quite a while being forced to wait for it. I will be waiting for Sosa, who gets a very lackadaisical first touch, so his team is still back on the back foot. Very interesting midfield pass, actually, to Sosa. MECTOS, very brave. That one goes wrong. You are in big trouble. Seems to spot the play as well. Down to the midfield. Taroko
Oh,
looks
what
for
a
the top corner, but an incredible save, and again, it's freshness.
And we're starting to get better passing. You even mentioned the risky back pass earlier on, but I actually really enjoyed that. It was almost such a smart play because you could keep possession and then pass that back so you'd have more momentum going to the clear. Then you see now we're also getting more midfield passes from Plot Twist as Sosa now is last back, but he plays it patient. Smart plays all around from Plot Twist.
LIONBLAZE looking to try and end the deadlock, but both these teams, it almost feels like they need some sort of extra thing to take the ball past. It would be a demo, a double commit, or something, or just no challenge whatsoever. This is the second time that Omelette's defense has been caught just completely stood still.
And I'm confused too because, like you said, there's players back. It's not like they had lost out a challenge. You know, the boost starvation was definitely a factor, but LIONBLAZE on the backboard, he could have at least positioned himself a little bit better, and yet there's 2 players in net, only 1 striker, but Plot Twist to end up with a goal.
Very strange, considering it feels like they've been put in that position numerous times this series, but they're making silly mistakes, and that has cost them 2 goals, and it's just been a lack of activity on the defensive side of the field. Over to the corner again. Taroko avoids being demoed. Now keeps the ball going. This is a great ball carry from him. Has got Sosa as well in the midfield. Instead will drop out. Over to MECTOS on target. Right down the middle. Well, this is pressure that they want to see. Maybe a Doomsy dish. Couldn't make contact, but the ball is hit straight into Luke, who looks to transition. Gets a second touch. Tried to go underneath MECTOS, who positioned himself brilliantly. LIONBLAZE to freshness, but too close to Sosa. Clears long, and that is match point to Plot Twist.
They fought their way back after that abysmal previous game. And it's a huge difference here for Plot Twist as things were starting to look up where it felt like really they were going for midfield passes, being a bit risky with them. But all in all, it paid really rather well because I felt like Plot Twist, they were a bit scared initially to go for maybe some creative passes, try and mix it up a bit. They just thought maybe Sosa was going to do most of the work. They didn't have to worry about, you know, going against that defense. But Omelette, they stood tall. They had a solid showing on defense. So it took a little bit more to break it down, but eventually Plot Twist, they had the confidence to go for it.
Yeah, Omelette's defense, it's a very strange game because overall, I was happy with it. But
definitely
2 very strange mistakes that led to them dropping this game. The first one just giving Sosa all the time in the world to do what he wanted to do. Surely you've got to have somebody in front of him after he's been playing it all that time. Not a single challenge in coming towards. And then the second one, 2 players in good positions, neither of them committing for the ball.
It's awkward, though, because I feel like it just comes down to communication. Most of the time, whenever you see a lot of players, at least on a professional team, in the same spot, it's because they're all hesitating. They don't want to step on each other's toes. They don't want to get in each other's way. So most of the time, whenever you do see Omelette either have 2 players in net or somebody not challenging, that's just communication. That's flat out an issue where they're not communicating when to go. And usually it actually comes down to the player who's behind the aggressor to tell him to go forward, give him confidence to keep moving up. And I think that's something that I'm honestly been impressed with, at least for Plot Twist. Usually their defense never gets out of order. The only times we've seen them slip up has just been from demos. Yeah,
so you are obviously the former pro player that we have got with us today, you and CJ, who is still active, thankfully. When you were defending previously, which position did you prefer to be in? Did you prefer to like take that proactive approach, or would you sort of like to rotate around to the back a little bit and almost general it and sort of point out where you want players to be?
Right. A lot of times it's very dependent on the team that you're playing. Usually it's better just to keep rotating and go forward to the aggressive spot where you're always in position to challenge, because the most important part is to never be flat-footed in Rocket League. You have to keep rotating constantly or you're just going to end up getting shut out, because most of the time with how fast-paced Rocket League is now, you have no time to pause whatsoever and think about the rotation, think about where you are. So at this day, in this age, you have got to keep rotating. Everybody has kind of pushed to more of an aggressive defensive spot where nobody can kind of just wait and be patient in the net. You really just got to keep going and be ready to approach the ball.
I mean, even if you break it down into a like even more basic form, it's that Rocket League, it takes time to accelerate. And if you want to accelerate at the best, you got to use boost for that. And it's just, it almost feels like a needless waste when we've got to a time where those boost pads are so well fought for by both teams that as long as you can keep yourself going, you can keep yourself in Supersonic, you can start to feather your boost for better situations where you need them. So just
Yeah.
keeping yourself in constant movement and constant danger of being able to actually go into challenge is a much better thing to do.
Yeah, and that was actually an issue that I had a lot whenever I was playing was boost pads in terms of getting those little pennies all over the field, because it's so easy to move your rotation and to just only go for the corner boost. And honestly, a lot of time I would actually rotate all the way back and go for the corner boost instead of just staying midfield, grabbing a couple pennies, and then turning around, because really you only need about 30 boosts to do pretty much anything in this game. To even keep possession, keep pressure on the opponent's half, you don't need a full boost pad. So a lot of teams, what we'll see is they'll get into this passive rotation where they could actually be keeping a lot of possession, but they choose to go for those back corner boosts. And that's honestly a big mistake because you lose out on a lot of opportunities.
So, plot twist currently sat on qualification point, where Space Station will await whoever wins this series. On the other side, though, Omelette has shown us more than enough that they can indeed go on stage. I mean, a 4-0 victory. It does start to make the rest of the series very questionable about how dominant a true Cali can be. Got my words a little bit mixed up there.
Sorry, I invented a word earlier today. I don't even remember.
No,
what
you
I said,
invented
but...
a word that was actually a word. You just invented a new meaning for the word.
I don't even know, dude. My brain just...
That's turtle squared right there.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I'm going to make my own dictionary soon enough. I'm sure if you listen to the cast, bro, like 100% of the time, I'm always making up my own words. It's just how it goes.
Hey, you got to be creative to be a caster.
That's right. That's right.
If you got your own language, then you're certainly ticking that box.
Yeah, nobody can have a problem. Nobody understands you, so they can't roast you on what you're saying, so it's fine.
I'm sure there'll be some people out there very dedicated, and MECTOS dedicated to get his team up.
Oh.
What a save from Luke, but Taroko will put his team up by 1. And that has got to come all the way down to just a fantastic transition from MECTOS.
Yeah, and that was a great recovery. You're exactly right. It was their transition, because a lot of times teams will see that it's an open net and they assume somebody's not going to get the save, so they decide to go back. But MECTOS staying there, waiting to see if Luke got the touch. He did, and then managed to get that pass out. Really good awareness from him.
Luke over to Taroko again. MECTOS on 0 boost. Doesn't seem to bother him all that much, but unintentionally infield past it, and SOSA is looking a little awkward. Luke does steal the 100 from the corner. And right now, Omelette have got all the opportunities. I don't feel like they know just how dire this boost situation is on their opponent's side of the field. Especially when it does come to opportunities to get rid. Finally, SOSA gets 1 touch, gets 2, does not get the bump. But my goodness, SOSA, very creative when he gets chance and time on the ball.
Yeah. But on the other side, I mean, the thing that was working so well for Omelette was their midfield control in terms of how they were catching the ball, taking it to the wall, and then going for a 50. But then there's a demo opening up space, and they've got a free shot.
It almost feels like what we're seeing happening with the ball is window dressing of sorts. Because every single time, these goals have so often come from demos that have happened from the player that previously played the ball, has found themselves downfield, and is now hunting out for whoever is next. Over to the corner. SOSA and the rest of Plot Twist very close to booking themselves into the main event. And this could be another one. Luke clears log and a huge demo. And the exact same things happened again, but they'll be very happy to see where Luke respawned. It was on the other side. Don't think he was going to be able to get to that ball at all. And LIONBLAZE, well, you'd expect him to make the shot.
And that was a situation, too, where a clear had been moved forward, but it was too strong and nobody was on the receiving end. There was a player waiting for it, but the clear was just so fast that nobody could capitalize. So these counterattacks not even working. And as I say that, LIONBLAZE, there we go. This is how it's done. You feed it into the corner, try to force out a mistake. Taroko was alone on defense, and then a double commit as SOSA just rotated in. They didn't see each other, and LIONBLAZE is there to at least put an easy one in.
Well played from Omelette. They keep themselves in it. They also keep it from being in a position where they've got to start scrambling to get plays. Don't want to be 2 goals down with a minute and a half left. Team's very good at closing out these days. Back into midfield. Luke does clear. SOSA has to get himself back, which he will do comfortably. But the lack of boost on MECTOS is going to make life very difficult. They require Taroko to get back in. Taroko will continue to play the ball onwards. MECTOS still doing very well with his low boost plays. He's doing a great job of fading out to Luke that he might still have something, forced to respect it. Freshness. He's got LIONBLAZE on his left. Oh, Luke on his left, LIONBLAZE on his right, and neither of them seem to be too important because MECTOS has taken over. He's got the reset, and he's got a huge save. My goodness,
Luke.
Luke.
Read that? I have absolutely no idea how he read that. That was an unreal shot, followed by an even better save.
That was absolutely fantastic. And Luke has kept his team in it. Another block there from Freshness. He looks to keep the pressure going. Oh, he's going to be second best. There's still a 100 boost, and if they can keep the pressure up, that 100 boost steal could be much bigger. Instead, dropping the midfield will mean that Plot Twist are going to be somewhat comfortable. Up to the corner, MECTOS. I don't feel like I've been on his camera without him being on 0 boost. It just seems like he's always going around, but almost never demo on Freshness. Sirocco buys his team a bit of time. MECTOS almost wiped out by Luke. Narrowly avoids it. 1 minute left on the clock. Stays as it is. Plot Twist will move on, and that's off the crossbar. LIONBLAZE happy to see so, but he's clattering it into Freshness. Luke on top of his hood. He's got 2 players to beat. Chooses to go for an early flick. SOSA still leaves the ball available. It's dropped down to LIONBLAZE, who was being harassed by MECTOS. And Sosa's touch keeps passing it over to Freshness. Another huge save. MECTOS this time. Both teams outstanding with their goal line defense.
I was going to say, I'm terrified for Plot Twist because it seems like Omelette are just really starting to put things together, figure out those missing pieces on their offense, but then the defense of Plot Twist stands tall, and it doesn't matter whether or not that shot is on point or on target. They're going to be there to save it. They just got to stall out. 10 seconds left.
Off the crossbar, Luke has got LIONBLAZE to aim for, but LIONBLAZE saw the 100 boost taken away from him by SOSA. And that means he could not react to the midfield pass. They've got one more chance. LIONBLAZE has got Luke in the midfield. The pass to him was too far away. Luke stays around. He's also got Freshness to help out. Freshness keeps the ball up.
Oh, they kept it up.
LIONBLAZE couldn't get it, though. Sirocco wins the race and wins the game for Plot Twist.
And what a series. Omelette starting to heat up towards the end here. Honestly, if this already wasn't in the favor of Plot Twist, I think Omelette would have taken this to overtime and really had gone off to really win this series, or at least get back into it, because they were starting to feel themselves and maybe, just maybe, bring some better opportunities towards the offensive side.
Okay, I've got to send this question over to you, Turtle, because one seemed like didn't read it but reacted to it incredibly well, where we saw the flip reset being saved. Yeah. And the other one, which was the drop down for the infield pass, that was saved off an incredible read that got straight over to it before the shot even had a chance to come out. Which save were you more impressed by?
I'm going with the flip reset, Luke save in the corner. That was, I didn't even see him in the net. That's the crazy thing. I saw the flip reset happen, and then I assumed 100% it's going to be a goal, and then Luke comes out. I think he drove in the net. I don't even know how he managed to put himself up there, but he got the save. I think that was so impressive.
It absolutely was. I mean, what a series, and Omelette have got very little to really look back on in anger.
Yeah.
I feel like overall it's just they came up against a team that had a little bit of a better plan when it came to growing through the series, because they both were very similar to start off with, and then we saw Game 2 start. Suddenly it was just demos galore, and Plot Twist were getting the better of it as we went through.
Yeah, it definitely felt like whenever one team would start going for demos, it would remind the others that they can also get demos too, so it just turned into chaos on the field. But for Omelette, I think it's good that they don't have too much time to reflect on that series. They're probably very eager right now to get into the next match. They're not too frustrated. They just want to play. They want to go into the lower finals and just make sure they can keep performing and keep elevating their play style. It started to pick up towards the end. I think they're going to bring it to whoever wins this next match.
Yeah, honestly, I mean, that next match is going to be ridiculous, and I am certainly looking forward to that one. Plot Twist, on the other hand, have moved on. They'll be taking on Space Station Gaming in the first round of the main event. It also means that they've qualified, which I'm sure they'll be very happy with, but we've also still got 3 teams, Turtle, that are sitting themselves in that lower bracket. We've got Omelette, Charlotte Phoenix, and Stromboli. I want your prediction. Out of those 3, who's going to make it?
You know, if Plot Twist didn't completely destroy Charlotte Phoenix, I would have gone Charlotte Phoenix right now, but I'm still on the fence with all three of these because I think that we've seen great looks from Alpha Kep, great looks from Shadow with his striking, and then on Omelette, I think that Luke at least was playing fantastic today, and if they can go for those demos that they've had earlier on. But I'm going to give the edge just ever so slightly to Charlotte Phoenix. I have to. I think that Dapper completes this roster, and I think Shadow's going to start popping off. Who do you got, Shogun?
Oh,
it's tough, man. It's tough.
Yeah, it certainly is. Looking at the teams remaining in this, I feel like I'm almost going to go for Stromboli on this one.
Okay.
It's just the team that I feel a little bit more confident about, but I suppose we'll get to find out very soon which team is going to be joining NRG, because when we come back, we will find out who Omelette is going to be playing against in the losers finals, as it is going to be Charlotte Phoenix taking on Stromboli.